I'm so proud that A Dog's Life is now sponsored and powered by Antinol. I've given green-lipped muscle to my fur family for over 15 years as part of the precautionary principle as learnt with the College of Integrated Veterinary Therapies. I switched to Antinol's Joint Care Pro a year ago, being so interested in its unique oil-based capsules, especially for Mr. Binks. He's taken green-lip muscle since I rehomed him, aged 2, 11 years ago, to support his long-term joint health, as green-lip muscle is species appropriate and bioavailable. Antinol is backed by 25 years of scientific research. Each 50 milligram capsule simply contains its patented active ingredient, PSCO-524. This is extracted from green-lip muscle. This is the highly concentrated oil that's ethically extracted and contains all known omega-3s, including ETA, EPA, and DHA. Mr. Binks's stride is strong. He's active and happy. His coat is like a mirror, reflecting a healthy metabolism that's supported by this powerhouse of omega-3. So go to Antinol's website today and grab your 10% discount simply using my code AnnaWebb. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to A Dog's Life that's powered by Antinol. In today's episode, we're speaking to the amazing author, actor, screenwriter, director, and a lot more, Cathryn Michon, about her latest book called I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever. Cathryn Michon, it is an absolute pleasure that you're here on A Dog's Life.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, not at all. You're amazing. That's all I want to say.
So, but we could end this conversation here. That's
yes,
no, that's
good. A close question. But you're an actor. You're a comedian. You've been on countless TV shows. You're a screenwriter, and you're also an author. Have I missed anything out?
Well, I'm also a feature film director, so I got a lot of jobs, yes.
Okay, no, cool. No, absolutely. And as part of all of this, you've done many, many things. But what we're talking about, obviously, tonight is the amazing brand, I guess, that A Dog's Purpose has become. Explain what A Dog's Purpose is, your involvement with this seminal book, and your love of dogs. Come on.
Yeah, my love of dogs is never ending. This whole book really began for me when my husband, I guess, had been thinking about the idea of a reincarnating dog and who comes back multiple times and finds their person and saves them. And it was when we were first dating that I said to him, I'll never have another dog. I'd had this beautiful Doberman, Ellie, and I lost her rather suddenly. And so then we were just on a long car ride, and he started to tell me this story he'd been thinking about. And he talked for like an hour and a half, and it was everything in the story of A Dog's Purpose, if you've seen the film or read the book. And I was just so moved, and I said, "Oh my God, you have to write that as a book." And really, it changed my mind about never having another dog, because I saw that the love you have with your dog is eternal, and their souls are eternal. And I do believe we meet again. And it allowed me to adopt our dog Tucker, who is the dog that's on the cover of my new book, I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever. So it all comes for full circle in this brand for us.
It's truly amazing. And I think, it's so educational for people. I mean, in dogs, since The Dog's Purpose was first published, which I think was about 2010, because I know that Bruce Cameron, your husband, did come on the radio show that I still do at nights again now, called Barking at the Moon, because we're on at night. Obviously, it's a fabulous opportunity to talk to people in America, because you're not about to go to bed, which a lot of people are in the UK. So I was just really, really moved by this book. And when, of course, the book became this film, A
Yeah.
Dog's Journey, I was a little confused as to it being called A Dog's Journey, although
Well,
it is.
no, to be clear, there are two movies. There is A Dog's Purpose, and then A Dog's Journey is the sequel to A Dog's Purpose, and that is the film A Dog's Journey. So there are two films, A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey,
I
and they were
didn't.
both big international hits. And my husband, W. Bruce Cameron, and I were the screenwriters for both of those films.
Amazing. I didn't realize that A Dog's Purpose was also a film. Oh, gosh.
Yes,
That's.
yes. Oh, you're in for a treat if you didn't see it. Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't. So I've got to. Oh my gosh, is that also on the big streaming platform that we all know called
On every place you can see a movie, you can see both A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey, and they're both very beautiful. It really is just about it's this metaphor. It isn't so much a book about reincarnation as it is a book about the eternal lives of our souls, because I think I happen to be a Christian, but I think we reincarnate within our own lifetime, even
Yeah,
like you change and you evolve, you know.
sure. I do love that concept. I'm a great fan of a scientist. You may or may not know this point. I know Mike, my producer's he's doing his eyes up to the ceiling, but it's a scientist called Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, who believes in one consciousness, basically.
Wow. I don't
Yeah.
know that, but I will look it up. It
uh,
sounds wonderful and very much like what I believe.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. It was a little bit like, we digress slightly. Sarah Ferguson, who,
Mhm.
yes, and she bought the late Queen two corgi puppies who inevitably were going to outlive the Queen, and
Yes.
she now looks after them. And there was a whole piece in the papers, and I did go on air to talk about this actually, because Sarah Ferguson believes that the pups are channeling the Queen every day, and
Yeah, I think that there are more there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. I didn't write that, but I think that the veil between people and that are here and what I call there, whatever happens after here, I feel that they can visit us. My own father actually visits me via a quite pesky dragonfly. Uh, who comes into the house and hangs over the beam over my bed and watches me when I sleep. I think that most cultures actually believe that the spirits of our loved ones can visit us via animals, via that sort of a visitation, and I personally believe in that.
yes, no, it's so interesting, and all of this gives hope. I mean, so okay, so I watched A
Yeah.
Dog's Journey recently because I know it came out in 2019. Again,
Yes.
we featured the show on. We were on in the daytime then, called The
Yes.
Barking Hour. And what was interesting was the CEO of Medical Detection Dogs, Claire
Yes.
Guest, came on to be a spokesperson, because something that I loved when I saw the film, only saw it last week, because I'll tell you why, because I knew there was a dog in there, someone told me, called Molly. Molly was my heart dog that broke me. And
Oh,
sure enough, the scene, I don't want to give any
yes.
spoilers of that scene. I had to pause. I mean, I had to stop. So I had to watch the film in three segments, actually. It was so wrenching, and Dennis Quaid,
Yeah.
he's one of my favorites,
Oh,
and
he's a lovely guy, and he's done a beautiful job in these movies playing the role of Ethan. And, I mean, and this is honestly, after A Dog's Journey came out and in the pandemic, that was when I was inspired to write I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever, because of how emotional our films are and the other books are. I really felt like there needed to be a beautiful graphic book that encompassed this philosophy, this idea that your relationship with your dog is forever and that your dog can be both there, what I think of as heaven, and here with you, watching you and loving you. And and I kind of struggled with it because it's during the pandemic and I'm trapped in my house, not trapped, but we're all
mm,
locked up with my dog and my husband. And I was like, I want to do this book and I want it to be a graphic book with paintings. And really, the only model I had was my own dog, Tucker. Um, I was like, oh, do I really want him to be the model for the angel dog in this book? Like, is that bad luck or something? And then I thought, no, because he's an angel dog on Earth already. And when he leaves me, and he will, he'll be my angel dog always. So that's how the book was born. It came out of a dog's journey and having conversations with people like you who are like, wow, this is so emotional for me.
I love the book.
Yeah, I just want to do something that like when your friend comes back from the vet and has put down their dog in a compassionate way, that you could hand them this book and that it would be of comfort. I think our films are a little more, I wouldn't say, oh, if you just had to put your dog down, you should watch A Dog's Journey. I think that would be too soon. But this book is something that you could hand to that person and that it would be of comfort to them.
It's a really charming book, this, because you, as you said, you wanted paintings in, and you really have, because
Yeah.
the illustrations, was it Seth Taylor?
Yes, he's the artist who did
Yeah.
all the painting. Yes.
Yeah, he really captures Tucker. I feel like I almost
Yes.
know Tucker, through this, because
Well,
I'm
I obsessively, I'm an obsessive dog mom, and we took many I'm a film director also, so I laid out this book like a storyboard, and we took a lot of pictures of Tucker, and there were some sequences that he loved doing. He loved getting treats and having that, be a picture of him. He did not love the bath sequence so much. you know, but he's a good sport, Tucker is, and I think the paintings in the book beautifully capture him.
and I've just got it in front of me at the moment, and I've just opened it at uh where there is a dragonfly, and after what you've
Ah,
just
yes,
yes, I
that's
mean
my dad.
yes, gosh, yeah, I love all of this. Yeah,
Well, the dog calls them, he says, he's just giving an example of how your people and your animals come back to visit you. And he says sometimes they come on things with wings. And
things.
that's where you see the photograph or the painting, sorry, of the dragonfly sitting on the dog's nose.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's brilliant. But I love all of this, if you really listen, you'll hear the scratch of my claws on the floor. Sometimes
Mm.
you do hear it. I can tell. You'll turn your head and I can tell you're wondering, is that me? It's me.
It's me. Yeah, I love hearing other people read the book. I'm the reader on the audiobook. Um, but it's just so fun because the nature, it's free verse, but it really reads more like the dialogue in our films of Bruce's books. It's just the dog talking to you in a very simple, childlike dog way. And I think it's very comforting. It's comforting to me, and I wrote it. That's what's weird.
But I mean, I think it's such a lovely thought. It almost takes everything full circle in the book collection almost. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it was interesting because we always felt that there needed to be a book like this. And at one point Bruce and I had contemplated writing it together, but I have written free verse poetry, not for money or anything, but just for fun my whole life. And he's like, look, you're the one in the family that's a poet. Why don't you take a crack at this book? And then I really fell in love with the project. And in fact, I'm at this moment, even as we speak, I just turned in my draft of I'm Still Here, A Cat's Purpose Forever, which will be the companion book to this one. And that's been really fun because cats have a completely different narrative voice. They're very supercilious and they just they feel like very protective of their people, but like their people aren't that bright, maybe. Like the cat is just a totally different creature, obviously, because
Have you
cats.
got a cat?
Well, I started out as a cat person, and so the cat that is the model for the cat in that graphic book, A Cat's Purpose Forever, was my cat named Candy, who was a cat that I had who became diabetic. I didn't name her Candy. She wasn't diabetic when I named her Candy. But she became a type 2 diabetic, and I kept her alive for 7 years, injecting her with insulin twice a day. And so I think I proved my bona fides as a pretty devoted cat owner. But she was very beautiful. I used to call her the Elizabeth Taylor of cats because she had these big blue-green eyes with this dramatic winged eyeliner, and she looked like Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, how lovely. No, cats, I love them so much. And
Yeah.
yes, I mean, we could talk for hours. I think the main difference is they're 10,000 years less domesticated than dogs, and
Yes, that is
yes,
true.
yeah. And I think that just perhaps gives them a bit of an extra closer connection to the universe. I'm not sure, but I'm a bit of a convert actually. I think I'm becoming more of a cat lady as I
Yeah.
age.
I love them all. I really, you know, getting to make films like A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey, where your cast, a large portion of your cast are dogs. It's the most joyous filmmaking process you could ever wish for. I mean, like if I'm making a movie with Brad Pitt, when we're, setting up a new scene, I can't go and make out with Brad Pitt, that's not allowed.
No, but you can with the dogs.
Oh dear God, that's all we do whenever we're not shooting is play with the dogs. It's so much fun.
So just tell me, I was going to ask about that because they say never work with children and animals for
Oh,
TV. What's your experience of that?
I heartily disagree. I say always work with animals, work with them ethically. We don't work with wild animals. We would only work with domesticated animals. And we have our dog teams on our films are very much from not the Caesar Milan, be the alpha philosophy. Our dog handlers like Bonnie Judd are very much love, play, and affection. So the dogs are not rigid and they're allowed to interact with the actors and the crew. And it's a beautiful, we always say the dogs are treated better than the
Yeah.
people on our film. Someone's always like massaging the dogs or, whatever. We're like, when do we get our massage?
Oh no, quite right, quite right. I mean, and casting the dogs, must have been really hard, because I bet all of the candidates were all fabulous.
They're all fabulous. I mean, a lot of how we do, I mean, like we made another film called A Dog's Way Home where we actually rescued the star of the film. She was living in a landfill in Tennessee. And we really wanted, and Sony helped us with this. We really wanted to show that a rescue dog can do anything. So we wanted the star of that film to be a rescue dog, and that was Shelby, who I'm still very close to, and in fact Tucker is quite enamored of. Um, and it was just a remarkable journey where we took this dog who wasn't even like living with humans and turned her into a movie star.
I love that, particularly at the moment, because I'm sure it's the same in the States as it is here, and that post pandemic, all the animal shelters are like bursting, like really bursting. And dogs are being, resold on the internet. That's one of my biggest
Yeah,
bugbears
that's
ever.
a frustrating one.
Yeah, and they're going from pillar to post, and yeah, it's quite a depressing vista, really. So I think to promote rescue dogs, I mean, yes, I'm a great one for all of that, I have to say. So
Well, when we've released our films in England, we partnered with Dogs Trust as our charity partner, and in America, we partner with Best Friends Animal Society, and our brand from this book, I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever, all the way through all the books, all the movies, has always had a rescue focus. We do believe that there's ethical breeding and good breeders, but our focus has always been rescue.
yes, yes. No, it's so important, it really is. Everyone deserves a second chance, and it's not
Yeah.
it's not their fault, Um just going back, again, and I love this book, by the way. I'm Still Here. I just want to really, really just say that again, and for everyone listening
Oh,
to
thank you.
Google this book, because I think yeah, it's a wonderful gift. I can't wait for the cat one to come out as well,
And I
because
checked, it is available in UK on Amazon and through some independent booksellers. So it's out there, and One thing I'm really proud of about the book, Andrews McMeel, my publisher, did a beautiful job physically with the book. It's printed on watercolor paper, so it has a thick, lovely texture. And the cover has this beautiful rose gold embossing. I really wanted to make sure that it felt like a treasured gift. And then the way the book is designed, the front leaf of the book is a beautiful painting of a person's footprints and a dog's paw prints in the sand. And that page is a page where people often mount a photograph of a beloved dog who's passed, so that this book can be kind of a remembrance of that particular dog, your particular dog. It's really how that has evolved has been really lovely.
It's yeah, it's so thoughtful, to be honest. I love this bit. There are so many words I adore. Chicken. I know I mentioned it, but it's worth repeating, all these things. Just, so you can't help but smile. And I think that's important.
Yeah, the dog is funny. I mean,
Yeah,
Tucker, who's the model for the angel dog, is a funny, goofy dog, and I think when you're contemplating your eternal relationship with your own dog, you it's important to remember how funny they are and how silly and the games that they like to play and the toys that they treasure and the treats that they love. And, I think that's what makes up our relationship with our beloved dogs. And this book reminds you of all of that and that you get to keep that, you
yeah.
know?
I love that because it is all about being in the moment, and that's I think again what's being stressed in the book as well, to remember to be here, and that thought that on crossing the bridge, another dog will be sent to you, and it
Yes.
might
Yes,
be me, or it might be one of my friends, but you'll just have to wait and
exactly.
see, but it'll be the right dog for your next part of your journey, because that's the thing, isn't it? Really, Cathryn, dogs are chapters in our lives and they
They are,
define.
and that part of the book is really about my honest, true belief that your dog cannot imagine you without a dog. The dog is a job in your household that someone needs to be doing, and so if you only have one dog and you lose them, they're very concerned that you'll not have a dog. Like, how would you possibly not have a dog? So some people think it's, like, am I betraying the memory of my beloved dog if I get another dog? And I very heartily encourage people to open their heart to another dog. And really, that's the whole story of the A Dog's Purpose brand. I was that person. I was the person who said, I will never have another dog.
Hmm.
I can't go through this again. And then I did, and I cannot imagine my life without the joy that Tucker has brought me. And when Tucker leaves, I will get another dog.
Absolutely. Yes, because that is what I always say. It's something my dad used to say, actually, that a hair of the dog cure, has got nothing to do with hangovers, but
Yeah.
everything to do with, healing your heart, getting back into the saddle a bit. If you fall off a horse, the first thing you have to do is get back on, or you never will get back on. There's lots of important messages, though, as well, through the whole brand, really. The
Yeah.
one that I've always loved is the sniffing, a dog, and to really tap into a dog's instincts. They love to play, as you say, and love to run, and those moments on the screen where the dogs are running free again, and
Mm.
that amazing ending.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
beautiful.
I know. So I know I'll probably burst into tears in a minute. But something I must mention, because I'd forgotten until I watched the movie, just last week, because
Yeah.
about this Molly connection with the book, and the film was, this the cancer detection, and how, of course,
Yeah.
Molly went in because the owner was CJ, wasn't it? Working with a charity that's training dogs to sniff out cancer.
And a lot of people don't know that is real. I know you do, but
Mm,
our friend Dina Zafiris, who was Tucker's first trainer, she ran a program at UC Davis doing clinical trials, training dogs to detect cancer, and they can detect cancer at stage 0 by scent. They can detect it before blood test. It's quite remarkable. We don't really even know what they're smelling. We don't know what exactly they're smelling, but dogs navigate the world through scent. And that's one of the things that, like you said, one of the messages of I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever is the dog talks about the you smell, how no one else in the world has it, and how delicious it is to the dog because really that's how they know us. They know us by our scent far more than by our sound or by sight.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And the whole tracking, and
Mhm.
particularly as well in the dog's journey, when that, there was the bad boy in there,
Mhm.
and you've got Molly going, I don't like the way this,
I don't like him. I
I
don't
don't
like the
like
way he
him. I
smells.
don't like the way he smells. And yeah, yes. And it's so important. So it's like a massive education. And also even in I'm Still Here, there's all the
Yeah.
bit where Tucker's going, I don't really like to do my sit, but if through this, you're reminiscing, I guess, about the moments when you
Yeah.
trained your dog. But that's, of course, an important message for people to be reminded about that,
Well, they like to work. So, cancer detection dogs have big works, but for a dog like Tucker, sit is a job. And in the book, he says, sit is not my favorite word, not at all. But he knows that good dogs do sit and he wants to be a good dog and he wants to do his work. And so I think that is true of all dogs and why it is so important that we train them because we co-evolved them to work with us. And whether it's learning how to sit and stay, which Tucker, by the way, does very well. He doesn't like it, but he will do it. Um, and it is important that they have tasks and jobs in our home, even if it's something as simple as sit or shake or roll over or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's fun. It also becomes fun because it's
It's
teamwork,
fun. It's fun. Yeah.
That's the thing. Training's fun. I always say to people, it's not boot camp because, it's about bringing the best out of your dog in a way to
Yeah.
work with you and focus with you, and that's there's nothing more confident boosting, and you can see, and for children as well, to work
Hmm.
with a dog, it really boosts confidence, I think, and helps in so many ways with service dogs as well, isn't it, Cathryn?
Well, I mean, Tucker does a lot of work because he's also basically a publicity dog. So he goes to schools and hospitals and the VA and, places like that. And uh, it's funny. He's old. Tucker's an older dog now, and I'm actually turning I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever into a short film that's going to premiere at the Dog Film Festival at Lincoln Center this fall.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it's lovely,
Amazing.
and yeah, and it's the film is going to be wonderful. It's a combination of um, we're using AI to animate the actual paintings in the book. It's very ethical AI because I own the copyright to the painting. So, and then we're combining it with real footage of real people and real dogs that we're putting through a process that will make it look like watercolor. So the whole movie will be like a watercolor moving version of this story that's told in I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever. And that's actually what I'm working on right now. And it's so exciting. It's so much fun.
Oh, brilliant. I didn't even know there was a film awards. Is that in New York or is that
It's
in
in New
LA?
York. It's called the Dog Film Festival, and it takes place in October at Lincoln Center. And then the festival actually travels all over the country. So people all over the country. It's just like a little 9-minute film that is a abbreviated version of the book. But anyway, the reason I was telling that is that I've been shooting a lot with Tucker right now, shooting little uh, segments of the film. And, even though he's an older gentleman, he's 13 now, when I say, Tucker, do you want to do cheese work? That's our word for something on camera because he gets little pieces of cheese. And he will sit right up and he is ready to go. And it's just so adorable. He's in A Dog's Journey very briefly. In the scene in Washington Square Park, you
Oh,
can see
yes.
Tucker walking with Bruce and I. That's Tucker in the movie. But he knows how to do it. He knows eyes to camera. I'll say, eyes to camera. And he'll
That's
do it.
brilliant. But that's keeping him young, because I feel sometimes people give up on their older dogs and they've maybe brought a younger dog into the pack,
Yeah.
and then they're very demanding and attention seeking. And that's something, I'm working very much. Both my own are seniors now,
Yeah.
and it's important to keep working their brains, a bit like it is for us. We've got to,
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
just yesterday, I shot a little sequence with him, and he had to do a lot of stay, and he had to do a lot of eyes to camera, and he did it beautifully, and he knows he's doing it, and he knows he's doing well, and he hears my praise, and he gets his little pieces of cheese, and it's so great for both of us, like you said.
Yes. Oh no, that's so great. And 13, that's not that old,
No, I know. I keep telling him every time we meet, like there was a dog in our neighborhood who was 18 and there was one who was 19. I'm like, keep going. Mommy needs you. We're writing books together.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Um, so is Tucker the only dog in the home?
He is because we travel to film sets a lot, and with one dog, we're able to bring him. And if we showed up with a pack, it would be more complicated.
Oh,
But live in a neighborhood. We live in Venice, and we live near the beach, and there's just a whole pack of dogs that are his neighborhood beach dogs, and they run on the beach together, and it's pretty dreamy. And so though we personally only have the one dog, I would say he's very much part of a pack, and that is very good for dogs.
absolutely agree. And they make their own special friends. I've found over
Yeah.
the years, sometimes the most unlikely friendships as well.
Well, he has a dog who lives next door to us, Lily, who is quite a bit younger, but I would say Lily is his official girlfriend. And she's tiny. When we met her, she was 3.5 pounds. I think she's gone up to a whopping 9 now. And Tucker's 24 pounds. So, but he loves her. And, she'll come and scratch at our front door looking for Tucker. And he'll go to her front door and be howling, "Where's Lily? Where's Lily?" I mean, it's like having Romeo and Juliet. They're so mad for each other.
But it's just so brilliant because it just highlights this whole extra plane, if you like, that having dogs in your
Hmm.
life offers you, so that you're not just some boring person that doesn't
Yeah.
have a dog. Dog people have all of these moments, whether it's rolling in fox poo from the walk and the first thing you want to do when you get back. I mean, I've done this with one culprit, Prudence, my miniature bull terrier. They're known for being trouble. And so, because I've had to carry her in through my apartment, hop her in the bath. I mean, she's unlike Tucker,
Yep.
she's good with the bath. She's had to be because, that's the only way we've been able to cope with so many moments of fox poop. And
Uh-huh.
it's a thing. But, those funny things, I thought if somebody could see me now, they'd think we'll probably never get a dog. And then there was one occasion I literally had 10 minutes before I was doing a radio interview. And it was like, so I had to get it off, obviously, or it would be all over the
Oh
flat.
my.
Yeah. So it was this massive, quick job and everything, and popped her in this sort of, fleece thing. So she'd dry off on her own, and then just hit the interview going, "Good morning." Thinking if they'd only seen
Yes.
me 2 minutes ago.
Oh yes. I
Yes.
relate so much to all of that. I've been in production meetings where I'm on Zoom audio only with the dog in the tub, cleaning him off as I'm talking to a whole production team about something we're doing in a movie. It's yeah. But it's not different. I think I don't have human children, but I am a stepmom. I think it's not different than having kids in a way. They come first and you work everything else around them, sort of.
No, for sure, for sure. But of course, dogs are not little people in a furry suit.
They are not. They are not. I remember one day in the pandemic, we have a lot of big windows, and a dove flew into our home, And Tucker, who I think of as the most gentle, like he's like trying to kill this dove, and I'm like, oh my God, it's a symbol of peace, but he's an animal. To him, it's prey. Like I can't put my framing on him. He's an animal. He's a carnivore. That was a free meal. Flew into the house. He we did end up rescuing the dove and setting it free, and it all worked out. But you have to remember that they are animals.
Absolutely, yes. And that's a greatest asset, isn't it, really? I think, animals teach us so much, and so much of all of this is in, a dog's purpose. And I can't wait to actually watch that, A Dog's Purpose,
Oh,
now.
you're in for such a treat.
I know, oh gosh, I feel like I've been really thick because, I've read
Well,
the book.
I mean, you are in for a treat. It's interesting when you say that there being animals is an asset to us. I firmly believe that. And actually, one of the first people to praise the novel A Dog's Purpose was the animal behaviorist Temple Grandin, who Bruce has ultimately formed a friendship with because the book so spoke to her. And she's the author of a book called Animals Make Us Human.
Yes, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've read
Yeah,
it.
and I
Yeah.
think I think that is such a great title and such a great philosophy. And it was very formative to Bruce in writing, A Dog's Purpose and then the movies and my own book in this brand. And I think that, you know, we co-evolved them. Animals, or sorry, dogs became dogs sometime in the Paleolithic, which is 30,000 years ago, and we evolved them to hunt. Basically, we needed a creature that was more swift of foot than we in order to hunt at that time. And so, we took on a responsibility when we did that. I promise you, I cannot release Tucker into the wild. He will not be hunting down a pack of zebras or something. Not that we have those in Venice, but whatever. Like he's no longer capable of being a wild animal. So it is our responsibility to care for them because we altered their evolution so that they would be companion slash work animals for us.
Yes, yes, we do. It is our responsibility to be committed to what we've made, which is man's best friend, right?
Yeah. I mean, our responsibility and our pleasure, obviously. You know, Tucker does work, as I said, but he's not really contributing. Well, no, that's not fair. I will amend my statement. He's on the cover of a best-selling book that I wrote, so he actually is contributing to the family business. And that's what he was bred to do. That's how we created them.
And he's your inspiration, really.
Oh
I
my gosh.
detect, I
Oh,
detect.
so the inspiration. Because I do think that he has a wise soul. I think they sense when we are sad, they can smell it. They sense when we're ill, they can smell it. And they feel that it's their responsibility to care for us and to cheer us up and to comfort us. And they're very good at it, and I think that is, I love the fact that the last pope, towards the end of his own life, became very honest about his belief that animals will also inherit the kingdom of heaven and that their souls are eternal as ours are. And that's what I believe. Um,
Yeah.
and
And it's right to. I agree with you on the Pope as well on that. And that was quite a big statement, really, for him.
and it came because a young boy, he was having an audience, and a young boy was very upset because his dog had passed and wanted to know if he would see his dog again in heaven. And the Pope was very clear that he would, and that their souls are as valuable as our souls are. Um,
Gosh,
it's a
yes. Well,
complex web of life.
it is. That is exactly what it is. And I truly hope, more than, well, you will know that it is all true. I want to believe
Yeah.
it. And Because I so want to see Molly again. I mean, she was such a special dog, but let's not get all saccharine and nostalgic here, Anna.
No,
But and
I think it's good to I think it's not saccharine to me. I think when I truly believe this, and this is why I wrote I'm Still Here. I truly believe that, even if you just want to take it from a scientific point of view, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and the soul is energy. And so I believe that our souls are eternal for that reason. And I think that when you speak of Molly, when you talk about her, that activates that soul connection between you. That's another form of energy in the form of thought. Love is energy, thought is energy. And so when you are verbalizing it, you're putting that energy out into the universe. And I think that reaches her and she reaches back.
yes, no, I don't disagree at all. And it's just very inspiring having this fabulous conversation, Cathryn, honestly. And I just, urge everybody to please get this book and think of it for a friend or family member, as that perfect gift at that time of grief, because it will cheer people up. That's the
Well,
thing with this.
if you believe as I do that their souls are eternal, then that was my whole reason for writing I'm Still Here, A Dog's Purpose Forever, was to give people a tool in the form of a physical book that you can hold in your hands, or you could listen to the audiobook, and remember the soul that you feel like you have lost, but you have not lost. You have not lost your dog. Your dog's spirit is still with you. And that is the message of this book. Speak of the audiobook, it's interesting. I was very privileged to be the reader on it, but then we also partnered with this woman, Julia Sullivan, who's a Grammy Award-winning pianist, and her rendition of Claire de Lune weaves in and out of the poetry in the audiobook, and that's been an additional thing that's been a comfort to people because it's a little less than an hour, and it's the sort of thing that if you're taking a long walk and you want to be thinking about this philosophy, it's the perfect thing that you could be listening to as you walk and think of your dog.
Yeah, and it's about that. It's about that moment, you're back in that moment,
Yeah.
rather than worrying, thinking behind, thinking forwards, that humans are really good at doing.
And I must say, I must add this because it might be the most important message in the book. The thing that people most in my many, many conversations with thousands of dog owners, we toured all over the country with all three of our films, and the books and book tour and all of it. The one thing that is most painful to people is they're second guessing themselves about whether or not they should have helped their dog over the Rainbow Bridge, whether or not they should have put their dog down compassionately. And I truly believe that they let us know. And in the book, the dog says, we do our best to let you know when it's time to help us cross over. And we never, ever feel anything but gratitude. And we only remember the ear scratches and the belly rubs and the car rides. And we never even think about the baths. And all that we remember is that you gave us the most perfect life ever. And we thank you. And that's what the book is telling you, which is that you could never make a wrong decision about that because the decision is made out of compassion. Your dog doesn't have an estate. You can't inherit its house. You have no reason to euthanize your dog, but that they are in pain and that you want to help them gently and painlessly cross over. And so I think the dog telling you that in this book might be the most important takeaway for anyone buying the book for themselves or giving it to someone else.
I agree. That is so important. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have worried about that. It is right. I mean, and everyone that has a great, connection with their dog, I think will know as well, as you've just
Yeah.
said. Absolutely. I think it's a symbiotic moment. Cathryn, look, thank you. This has been just so fantastic. And I feel really honoured to have had a chat with you, and we could talk for ages and ages,
We
but
could.
I know. So look, good luck. I'd love to find out how you get on at the New York Dog Film Festival. So maybe we
Yes,
could
well, we'll stay in
regroup.
touch and I'll let
Yes,
you know about all of it. That'll be fun.
it will be great fun. And thank you again. And enjoy the rest of your day with Tucker.
I will. I always do. Thank you so much. This has been a real treat. Beautiful conversation.
Oh, thank you. That's our show. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts, because it really makes a difference. Thanks, of course, again to Cathryn Michon for joining us today, and we can't wait to catch up with her after the New York Dog Film Awards. All the links are in the show notes, and that's also for Mike Hanson, my producer at Pod People UK. Thanks again, of course, to Antonol, and why don't you use my code, which is just AnnaWebb, to get 10% off your first purchase. We'll be back in your feed next Sunday, so why not subscribe? Then you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.